I'm going to talk about recommendation letters and scholarships. I'm going to start off with recommendation letters. The first thing you want to do is pick the right teacher, right? So how many of you are going to go straight to your math or science teacher for a recommendation letter? You're going to go straight to your math or science teacher. Try and pick a teacher that you have a really close relationship with. So you can pick a basketball coach, a gym teacher. Like I got one from a music teacher, and he had like a minor in English, and it was really, this is too short, I'm sorry. And it was like a really good recommendation letter, except he spelled my name like wrong like 5 times. But it was okay, because I asked him nicely to change it, and he did. Which brings me to my next point. Ask them nicely and give them like at least a month, like tell them a month in advance, hey, I'm gonna need a recommendation letter, and tell them when you need it by, because they're probably gonna get a lot of other, especially if they're a popular teacher and they're cool and whatever, you know, tell them ahead of time. Another thing you wanna do is give them materials. Teachers don't make a lot of money. Please give them an envelope, give them paper if they need it, give them whatever they need to write you a good recommendation letter. If they have questions regarding what college you're going to or what major you're planning on pursuing, let them know, because if you're gonna go into the medical field and they write that you're really good at writing essays, that's not really gonna help you. So try and make it relatable. Don't assume that they're just gonna finish it whenever. Like I said, they're probably gonna have a lot of other people coming to them asking them for a recommendation letter. So, you know, don't assume they're gonna follow up with them. And then when they give it to you, don't forget to mail it yourself. And when you're done, don't forget to say thank you, because they really didn't have to write you a recommendation letter. Now I'm gonna move on to scholarships. So you could literally get a scholarship for anything. You can get a scholarship for being a lefty. You can get a scholarship for going like to Egypt for a month or something. Like you can get a scholarship for so many things. A lot of times your advisors will have a list of scholarships with them that you could, you know, think about applying to. There are also a bunch of websites that are listed, like in one of the next slides, that have scholarships that you can apply to. Also, the colleges you're applying to a lot of times have scholarships that you can apply for. It doesn't hurt. Like, I got a scholarship for $250, and I did nothing. I literally don't know how I got it. It was crazy. It's cool. No, I didn't apply for it. They just gave me one. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can get a scholarship for anything. It doesn't, and if you apply, it's a better chance that maybe you'll get $2,500, not $250. You can get a lot of scholarships from your high school. For example, like if you're really good at a sport, or if you join like I don't know, they have like academic teams and stuff, and you do really well in those, or merit-based scholarships, you have really good grades. So they're like not only from the colleges you're applying to or online for programs and stuff like that, but also from your own school, you can get a lot of opportunities for scholarships. Once you find out what you qualify for, make a list of all the different deadlines, because a lot of times scholarships have, like once it passes the deadline, you can't apply for it anymore, and you could be missing out on a really good chance to get a lot of money and not be in debt and ruin the rest of your life. So check the requirements for each one. Make sure you fulfill those requirements. If you need to write an essay, a lot of times you have to write an essay again. Make sure that you follow the prompt, or if they have a prompt. When you're writing an essay for a scholarship, make sure you, again, like Verena said, for the college essays, don't go off topic. Try to stay concise and like to the point of what you're writing about. Sometimes you're gonna have an interview. When you're going to an interview, don't come in jeans and a t-shirt. You know, wear a nice, if you're a guy, wear a shirt, like a button-down shirt with nice pants and shoes. If you need help with that, you can come ask me. If you're a girl, I don't know, wear a dress with nice things. Okay. A lot of times they'll have websites that you need to make an account for. You should probably do that. They oftentimes want to know what your major is and why you want to go to college, and also why you're applying for the scholarship. So if you're majoring in, you know, if you're doing something in the medical field and you're applying for a scholarship that, I don't know, has nothing to do with medicine, you know, they might want to know why. And check your email for updates. Also about emails, don't have your email address like Dragon Slayer 9000 at MSN. First of all, no one uses MSN. Second of all, like try and make something like just your name, maybe like first name, period, last name, or something simple like first name, period, last initial, whatever. But make it something that's professional, because your email is like one of the most important tools you're going to use in your future. It connects you with other people. It helps other people connect with you. It's really important that you have a professional email. And check your email regularly, like check it all the time. If you have, who has Gmail? Anyone have Gmail? If you have Gmail, or if you have some kind of email that you can like download an app for, download the app and put your notifications on. It really helps not to miss important emails. Like the regular, if you have an iPhone, the regular Apple email thing, like that never gives you notifications, and it just has this like enormous number on the bottom that no one looks at. Now I'm going to talk about deciding your major. So how many of you know for certain exactly what you want to do when you get to college, or what you want to do with your life? All right, you're probably all going to end up doing something else, but that's okay. Because like there's this, I forgot what the exact number is, but a very high percentage of freshmen in college change their majors by the time they graduate. So if you don't know what you want to do, it's okay. If you do know what you want to do, it's also okay. You don't have to declare a major for certain until you have 60 credits, which usually is by the end of your second year or your sophomore year in college. So it's 2 semesters a year, so you should always try and keep a minimum of 15 credits per semester. So you take 15 credits, usually is one class is 3 credits, so you take 5 classes a semester, you get 15 credits. 15 times 2 is 30, and then 30 times another 2 is 60, so that's 60 by the end of 2 years. If you don't take 15 credits, you're probably going to have to end up taking summer classes and winter classes, and no one wants to, you know, walk through the heat or the freezing snow to get to class on time, you know. So try and keep 60 credits. That's very important. Your first semester in college, I know some colleges don't let you pick your classes first semester. I know for CUNYs, they do let you pick it. You have to go like beforehand, before the semester starts during the summer usually, and you go through a college, like an academic advisement. They let you know, based on what you want to do or what you think you want to do, what classes you should take. Usually first and second year, mostly first year, but also first and second year, you're taking core classes. So core classes can be anything from art to like writing. You have to take an English course, you have to take some kind of like math, and then you have to take science. So there are requirements also if you're, let's say you're in AP math, or I don't know, if AP science or whatever, I don't know, and you fulfilled already a college requirement in your AP class, and you go to academic advisement over the summer, they might tell you you don't need to take one of these core classes because you already fulfilled the requirement in high school. So that's cool. After your first semester, not first year, first semester, you're on your own. You have no help. You can still take academic advisement, but it will no longer be scheduled for you to take it. So you'll have to go to your college's academic advisement center and set up an appointment. And it's better to do it sooner than later, because nearing the end of the semester, when people are registering for next semester's classes, there's going to be a lot of like traffic in that department. So you want to get on top of that as quick as possible. Core versus major/minor classes. Again, core classes, like I mentioned, are basic classes you have to take. Major classes are classes that directly lead up to your major. So if you're majoring in law or something, you might take Intro to Law as a major class, and that will count towards your major. A lot of times colleges will have major and minor career fairs, which are where they set up like tables and stuff and have information booths and things like that, kind of relating to specific majors, where you can talk with people who are in that major and see if it's something you might want to do with your future. Meet with an academic advisor on campus. Again, it's very important, especially when you're choosing classes for next semester. Your major does not mean it's your career choice, but it's a step in a specific direction. So if you're majoring in English, you might not want to do something specifically with English. You might go into law, for example. You might apply to law school after getting your bachelor's degree. It's definitely good to have a major that you want to do, in the future, but it's not required.
Who here has thought about dorming? Can you just give me a show of hands? Okay, so for the parents and for you guys, just kind of a little bit about me. I didn't want to dorm, but I got into a program where if I didn't dorm, I would be kind of kicking myself later down the line because I was offered a very good deal. That being said, for the parents and for people who are watching, I can't make the decision for you guys. This is something that's going to have to be done between you and your child, and hopefully Abuna, who can be kind of a help to you guys. But I can tell you the pros of dorming, and I can tell you the cons of it because at this point I've been living away for like 8 years. Some really good things about dorming that I think we're not really told is that it forces you to mature at a much quicker rate than you would, I think, living at home with your parents. For the most part, when I say mature, I mean that you're now on your own. You have to fend for yourself. You have to do things for yourself. You no longer have mama and baba cleaning after you, doing laundry and all those things. So you're forced to kind of mature in that regard. Another pro that I think is very important is that it makes you very independent. I think a lot of you guys in high school are very reliant on the people around you, but when you dorm, you're forced to kind of step up and become very independent. Another aspect that I think many of you who are going into these competitive schools will see is that a lot of the really good programs sometimes are not in the area, so you may get into a very competitive program elsewhere. That's something to just consider. And honestly, lastly, I think it's a very fun experience in that you get to grow, you get to make a lot of lifelong friends, and it's a very good experience. With that though, there are a lot of cons that I think a lot of you guys know about, but sometimes we're not very honest with ourselves about it. One of the cons that I think is that, number one, it's very expensive. Dorming is not cheap. Dorming pretty much doubles your cost at the end of it. So Siena College for me ended up being, without the scholarship, would have been like $30,000 a year. But if I went to a school around here and I was living at home, I would have cut that price in half easily. So that's one thing to consider, is that this is not a very cheap decision to make. You guys, a lot of your friends are going to want to dorm, they're going to want to go to all these crazy schools, but if you ask them how much they're paying, they're going to be upwards of close to $50,000 a year. So that's one thing, and you want to know if you're going to take out a loan or not, or if your parents are going to help you. This is a very big financial decision. It's not just I really want to live in California, so let me just go. I think there's much more thought that needs to go behind it. The other thing is that you miss out on a lot of things that are here. So I know a lot of you guys grew up in the church, you guys grew up around your families here. When you dorm, you're not going to be coming home every Sunday like you do here. You're not going to be seeing your friends and family every single week. Impossible. The most you'll do is probably a weekend every 4 weeks or 6 weeks. So that's something to consider, is that, I know a lot of you guys are very close to your friends and your family here. That is something that will undoubtedly take a hit when you guys go, and it's just something to consider. The other thing is that, we always hear about dorming and at the parties and all these things. I don't want anyone to lie to you guys. The stuff that you guys hear about is absolutely valid. It happens, the drinking, the partying, all that stuff, and it's probably even worse than you think. There's many people who come up to me and they say, oh, but dude, don't worry, I'm going to a Catholic school, and that stuff doesn't happen. I am telling you from now, I went to a Franciscan school where there were friars walking around, and it's a Catholic school, and the social scene was by no means Catholic. So just know that there's no such thing as, this school, there's no parties, there's no social pressures. That's not true. It's going to be there everywhere you go. And if somebody tells you otherwise, I don't think they are kind of telling you the truth at that point. That being said, this whole situation is dependent on you and your relationship with your parents and your relationship with the church and everything like that. I would beg you guys to consider all of these aspects before you just say, I'm going to go ahead and dorm, because it is a humongous decision. And if you just, dorm haphazardly, you don't know the consequences of it later on if you're not ready for it. And to the parents, I would tell you guys that this is a decision that you guys have to make with your child, with Abuna on board, because it is, like I said, it is a very important decision. I can't, support one way or another. It's just dependent on your relationship with your kid, and how much you trust them, and moving forward, what you think is best for them. You have to ask yourself, what are the reasons you are dorming? Are you leaving to dorm because you got into an amazing program? Okay, that's a probably legitimate reason. But if you're leaving because you think your parents are a little too strict, or your parents and your family members here are a little too in your business, it's a difficult thing to just say, I'm going to get up and leave because of a social aspect. I think those are things that you can work on at home with your friends and your family, with Abuna involved. But to just dorm for the sake of getting away from your family, I think is a very reckless decision. And you have to know that your parents are not doing this stuff to annoy you guys. That your parents aren't here to, piss you guys off and be an annoyance in your life. No, they're doing everything they can to make your life as easy and simple as possible. But you guys maybe have to do a better job of communicating and figuring out a better way at home if you're going to stay at home.